The Washington Wizards are the one team in the NBA that's completely lost. Ever since John Wall left the Wizards, they've been stuck in no man's land. Mediocrity. Constantly getting bounced out the first round or winning just enough games to not be bad, but not enough games to be good. This is the last place you want to be as an NBA franchise or sports franchise in general, and this is exactly where the Wizards are. But it goes deeper than that. Why are the Washington Wizards lost, and how can they fix it, which will help them escape this horrible cycle of NBA purgatory, which is mediocrity. The Washington Wizards are completely lost because they don't have a proper direction. Seems pretty self-explanatory, right? But it's a little bit deeper than that. After trading Russell Westbrook to the Lakers before the start of last season, most believed the Wizards had an underrated roster and could surprise some people. And to start the season, that's exactly what they did. They started out 10-3, but it mostly went downhill from there as they finished with a 35-47 record, good for 12th in the East, which landed them the 9th pick where they selected Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin. The Wizards had a good roster last year, but in hindsight they didn't have a roster better than anyone above them, apart from maybe the New York Knicks. So going into this offseason with Bradley Beal being a free agent, after being in mediocrity for a good few years now, it seemed the obvious direction to go as a franchise was to rebuild and let Bradley Beal walk. What did the Wizards do? The exact opposite. Instead, they signed Beal to a max 5-year $251 million contract, which he will now be earning an average of $50 million a year and $57 million in the season he turns 34 years old. Now the Wizards are stuck with someone who's a really good player, but never someone who can be a number one option on a championship team. With Beal at the helm, to assume they'd get anywhere would be like assuming you and all your buddies could board the paper airplane you've just made. It's really not realistic in any stretch of the imagination. At best, with Bradley Beal and this current Wizards roster, the Wizards can be a 6th seed, and then they'll lose in the first round, which would probably be the absolute worst result as a franchise. In the NBA, you obviously want to win games, but in the Wizards' case, that's all they want to do, win as many games each season. This sounds like a good thing, but what the Wizards are doing is only preparing season by season, with little to no overarching plan or preparation for the future. With the current roster they have, making the playoffs is a false hope. Like when the Magic made the playoffs a few years ago, and they beat the Raptors in the first game, or they beat the Bucks in the first game. They might win a game and excite some people, but everybody knows there's no chance they're going to get anywhere near an NBA championship. And that's really the truth. In regards to their future, because every season they win games somewhere in the mid to high 30s, you can't get much high quality young guys to build a franchise. They do have some young talent already though, but not good enough to get super excited about. Johnny Davis, he could be pretty good. It's yet to be seen what his career is going to look like. Hachimura, he's had a decent career so far. And Denny Avdia as well. It's looking like this season maybe he'll kick on. These are all good players, but compared to the best young cores in the NBA, they don't come even close. So, how can the Wizards escape their directionless ways? It's simple. They need to fully commit to contending or rebuilding. Like I mentioned before, the Wizards do have a decent squad. They still have Bradley Beal, Porzingis, and now they have some other interesting pieces as well, like Will Barton and Daniel Gafford. But the problem with the Wizards is they're almost playing both sides, because they still kept on to a lot of their young talent as well, like Avdia and Johnny Davis, when they could have traded that for maybe a superstar player. This makes it hard to really make a go at contending or committing to rebuilding, because you've really not done one or the other. What needs to happen is they need to trade their star players for young guys, which is a little harder right now because Beal re-signed, or let go of some picks and other draft assets to add on to what you have already. Everybody knows the smart idea would have been to just rebuild without Beal in the summer. But now since Beal has stayed, you can go ahead and put all your effort into contending for a championship. Recently, it was rumored they were trying to go after Donovan Mitchell, which is the right move if you've decided you're going to go all out into winning. But Donovan doesn't really fit with the players the Wizards have currently. The Wizards are missing another star wing or solid point guard to complement Beal. Someone like OG Anunoby would fit perfectly if you offered the right package to the Raptors. Someone who could fit at point guard would be Mike Conley, someone who you could definitely squeeze out 2 more legit seasons out of, and someone who adds valuable floor general, 3-point shooting, and a bit of defense. If they could add a few more guys of that caliber, the Wizards could legitimately challenge a little higher in the East and make some noise in the playoffs this season. And if that doesn't work out or Beal is unhappy, you can trade your guys and circle back and rebuild like you were meant to do many years ago. The Wizards being completely lost has all to do with direction and commitment. You can't play both sides in this league. Rarely does it work. Either they go all out or try again with a new group of guys. But all you can ask for is commitment from the players, front office, coaches, etc. And when you do that, no man's land will be somewhere you never visit ever again. If you enjoy this video, you can check out my latest video, Why the Knicks Can't Attract Any Superstar Players. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and I hope you enjoyed. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.